Members of every branch of the United States government gathered on Capitol Hill this past week for President Biden's second State of the Union address. Now, sure, there were plenty of famous faces in the House chamber on Tuesday, but when the president gave his speech, he was focused outside the halls of Congress, beyond the Beltway. The president had a very clear audience in mind, you, the American people. Listen to this.
We've already created, through help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years. For too long, workers have been getting stiffed, but not anymore. We're beginning to restore the dignity of work. I'm so sick and tired of companies breaking the law by preventing workers from organizing. Pass the PRO Act, because business have a right, workers have a right to form a union. And let's guarantee all workers have a living wage.
After that address, the president, vice president, and the entire cabinet hit the road to reinforce and reiterate that message. And we're going to talk to some folks that met with and saw the vice president or president this week. Veronica Puentes is an Assembler One technician in Minnesota. She was at Vice President Harris's event. And Amber Reisky is a member of LaUna Local 113 in Wisconsin. She introduced President Biden earlier this week. And Larry Dupree is a political coordinator for the retirees of Teamster Local 79 in Florida. And he chatted with President Biden on a rope line earlier this week. Thank you all so much for being here. Amber, I want to start with you because you told President Biden at an event in Wisconsin recently that you know he's aware of the types of challenges that American families face. And you also mentioned how government-sponsored training programs really changed the course of your life. Did any of the topics that he covered in the State of the Union resonate with you?
Hi, Simone. Thank you for having me today. Yeah, absolutely. Everything in the State of the Union resonated with me. The biggest thing, though, that I got excited about was childcare. So I am a single mother, and, you know, while I have a great union job and have a great wage with benefits, childcare eats up about 30% of my income every month. So affordable childcare and, you know, having that available for me and my child is really necessary for me to do my job.
You know, did you know that Democrats and Republicans cannot come to agreement on who should receive financial assistance on child care, and that that's one of the main reasons that this bill hasn't moved forward?
Yeah, I know historically they haven't agreed, but I didn't know there was actually anything in the works right at this moment, so.
It is harrowing. Veronica, I want to bring you in here because you are also a tradeswoman, and you met the vice president this week. Y'all were in Minnesota. What did you think of the vice president's message, and did you learn anything new at that event?
You know, the event was actually an opportunity of a lifetime. I was there to represent my union, Communication Workers of America, 7304. Awesome. And New Flyer of America. It was definitely it was just an interesting opportunity that I had, and I actually learned a lot. There's so much hard, dedicated work that gets put into an event like this that it just blew my mind. And to be able to know that the infrastructure bill is going to be $5.5 billion to support these electrical buses that we build at our company, that really meant something to me.
And the electric buses, I can tell you from personal experience, I know that the vice president is very invested in the climate effects and just the effects that this will have on real folks. And I know you got a chance to chat with her about that. Now, Larry, you met the president on a rope line this week in Tampa. And you say that you showed up because you had an interest in the information about Medicare and Social Security, right?
Yes, Simone. Thank you for having me. And that is so much true. Being though that I'm now retired and I am on Medicare and receiving Social Security.
So were you pleased with what you heard from the president?
Very much pleased with what I heard from the president. there. He's want to strengthen and secure the Medicare and Social Security. And like I said, I just want to know the future of my, I just retired. So the future of Social Security is very important because that income that I receive from them is going to be a great help to me and my family.
It really strikes me, Larry, that y'all were in Florida and Tampa because the whole conversation this week around Medicare and Social Security really centered around a proposal from your Senator, Rick Scott. Did you know about that proposal prior to the president bringing it up in the State of the Union or at the event in Tampa?
Yeah, I kind of heard what old Tricky Ricky said about what he wanted to do, and he phrased a 25-year, well, 50-year quote that Biden had done. But, Simone, his same proposal contradict from what he was saying about Biden, because what he was basically saying was that if they do this act that he wanted, that at the end of it, it could go kabunkers. In other words, if it's good enough, the word I think he used, if it's good enough, then we can make a decision to keep it going. But, that's just one of his trick words. And, like I say, I didn't care for that, but I was aware of that statement.
I think folks in Florida are paying attention to what you are saying, Mr. Larry. Okay, show of hands from folks. I'm very interested. Did anyone feel better about how things in the country are going after hearing directly from the president or the vice president this week? Anybody? Anybody feel better? Okay, Larry, all our hands went up. Okay, why? Veronica, why did you feel better?
She brought something. She brought hope. With hearing what she had to say, it brought hope. To believe that if she made it to our company to be able to speak to us union members and let us know that they are doing their best to make a difference, it did. It made a difference. It was amazing to me. And I just hope that they definitely stick just exactly to what they say that they're going to do, because it did. It just brought me a lot of hope.
Amber, you're going to get the last word on this.
To be the first stop after the State of the Union at our training center out in DeForest, that was just an incredible honor. And I felt like I had a lot of hope, and I felt really exhilarated. And I felt like, he actually cares about average, hardworking Americans that are out in the field, that are out building America. I mean, out of all the places he could have gone in the United States, he chose our center where we're on the ground every day, working with our hands, building roads, building buildings, the things that we use in our communities every day to get to and from work, our bridges, things like that. So I really felt like I was cared about, and the connection that we all had, our whole union, all my brothers and sisters, and the energy in that room was just amazing.
We often we cover these events, obviously, here on MSNBC and at NBC News, but it really makes a difference to hear from the people in the room. Veronica Puentes, Amber Riskey, and Larry Dupree, thank you all very, very much for your time and your insights. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.